Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David, Nick, and Joseph. Boys, say hi to the people.
What's up?
Okay.
Wow, a lot of energy. I can tell why. It's been a rough
It's been
couple
a
of
rough.
days. Recording on Monday night. I don't think it's fully set in yet, but we got to get this in before Tuesday because we've got picks to make. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Joe, why don't we let you start first this week? You give us your your shout out and your disappointment for the week.
Yeah, so winner, listen, no one's been more vocal on this podcast about Alabama than me, especially in the beginning of the season. I thought Nick Saban was dead. Stick a fork in him, stick a fork in that offense. He doesn't know how to maneuver in the modern day of college football this year. Um, I would say that my bad juju being moved elsewhere definitely helped out Nick Saban in Alabama. But with that being said, like the sky is not falling in Tuscaloosa anymore, right? Like we can honestly say that Milrow has gotten better. That team is starting to find that bully ball where Jason McCullough is starting to look like he can be a back that runs for 100 yards a game and is a bell cow running back, which is what they needed because they didn't have the quarterback play and they didn't have the receiver play. So when you don't have skill on the outside, it is time to play bully ball and make the opponent say uncle. And that's kind of what they're doing. So my winner is them because at the end of the year, I think we're going to be looking back at Alabama and they're going to have a major say on whether or not they make the playoff and who else makes the playoff because they still got some big games on their schedule. They run the table here in the SEC West. They go play Georgia theoretically in the SEC East, and we're looking at a game. I mean, I still pick Georgia 10 times out of 10, but you can't count out Coach Saban now. Look what he's doing with that team. He looks like a miracle worker. So Alabama's my winner this week just because I think that they'll have such a big say on the end of the year and who gets in and whether or not they get in or who gets out. Um, Loser, listen, 1 week is a conundrum. It's a coincidence. 2 weeks in a row, Caleb, like, whatever. He's still going to be the number one pick overall, whether I agree with that or not. But this is, I think, 2 weeks where he's had this past week, he didn't throw any touchdowns. I'm not saying the guy has to throw for 5 touchdowns, but how about one or two? You're the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, the supposed uh, unanimous first overall pick in this year's upcoming draft, and you can't throw a touchdown? I mean, what are we doing? You got an offensive boy genius standing behind you in Lincoln Riley, who hasn't recruited a defense in a decade because he wants the ball back so much, and you can't throw a touchdown? I don't know. I listen. Here's a hot take. He's my loser, number one. But number two is, should he really be the unanimous number one overall pick? And is he the best player in college football? Because I'm starting to think no.
He just doesn't want to play for the
Maybe,
Bears,
maybe
man.
it's just he runs around 40 yards in the backfield, left to right, and hope that the receiver gets open, and he's just playing with such talented wide receivers that he looks so great. I don't know. It's my hot take. I don't know. But he's my loser this week because it's
I
2 weeks in a row now. And he's not playing the Notre Dame defense, so he has no excuse.
I got two things. Two things. One, he may not be playing the Notre Dame defense, but he was playing the juggernaut that was the Utah Utes defense. So put some respect on them. The second, it was a bad weekend for supposed top five picks, and I mean that we'll kind of get into that with my winner now because my winner is Tony Elliott and the Wahoo Laws of Virginia. They went into Chapel Hill and they worked number 10 North Carolina. I mean, they were my lock last week, 23-point favorite, and they beat them. It was the biggest win in Virginia program history. Drake May, I mean, he did everything he could, but that was a great win for Virginia. It was a great win for that program, obviously, with everything that happened last year. Just they needed something to hang their hats on, and I think Tony Elliott has just had a horrible luck with. I mean, first inheriting a program that wasn't that strong, and then everything that happened. He needed something to kind of hang his hat on, and that win was huge for them. So I'm happy for Virginia. I'm happy for my boy Tony Elliott. Um, so like Joe was saying, Caleb Williams looked down the last 2 weeks, and now Drake May's losing to Virginia at home. It's a tough week to be a top five quarterback right now. but not
Yeah,
as tough of a week.
I was
Go ahead.
real quick before you get to your winner. I was waving the Drake May flag. I was the
Yeah.
biggest guy on his bandwagon on this podcast. No more. I mean, it wasn't all his fault. Virginia didn't let them breathe, but I mean, he did not look as good as he has. There's no way he wins the Heisman now. He needed to go to an ACC title game and win that. Good luck with that. Go ahead.
And honestly, even Michael Penix had a tough time this week too. I mean, they didn't score an offensive touchdown against Arizona State.
No, their
He's lucky
defense bailed them out.
I think
exactly. So they're lucky.
the new Heisman favorite as of this morning was JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, plus 420, which is ridiculous. He's playing high school JV teams, and now he's the high odds-on Heisman favorite. Congrats, Michigan. Well, you've played nobody. You've played St. Mary's School for the Blind.
And apparently needed to cheat to win.
Those kids play hard.
Yeah. Too bad they can't see.
I think that J.J. McCarthy is going to get humbled a little bit when he plays Penn State, Ohio State. I don't think if Michigan wins those games, I don't think it's going to be because of McCarthy. I think it's going to be because of their defense and their run game. I still think they win both those games right now, but I just don't think – I think McCarthy will throw at least 2 picks in both.
He's not a bad quarterback. He's just not the best quarterback in football.
Exactly, and he hasn't played anybody. So the fact that he's getting all this hype, and especially with everything going on with Michigan right now, I'm going to reserve judgment until it's confirmed, and the report comes out. But if there's video proof of a staffer going to games and videoing the other team, I'm all for sportsmanship and trying to figure out signs during the game. If you're scouting and you're buying 30 tickets to games that Michigan's not playing in, and videoing the other team, that's cheating. That's despicable. So we'll see how that situation turns out. But Michigan, little Houston Astros treatment? Question mark. I don't know.
Well, if it's Houston Astros treatment, they better hope Rob Manfred is commissioner because he didn't do anything to them. So,
nope.
Worst commissioner in sports.
And I've been putting it off, but it's time. My disappointment, Clemson. What are we doing here? I'm going to go on a rant here, and then I think David's going to follow up. Joe, buckle up. You're going to
about to learn some things.
I'm buckled up. Is Dabo Sweeney dead?
No, he's not. But he's on life support.
Oh Lord,
Dabo. I'm glad he handled the post game as well as he did. I think it was his best post game. It was his. And to his standards, it was his best post game in years.
I'm talking about one comment in particular.
Oh, well, he apologized for that.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah. Basically, it's unfathomable that the fact that we've lost 10 fumbles already, 12 fumbles. That's the first thing they teach you day one in practice. Protect the ball. We got players that are yelling at other players that are making these fundamental mistakes multiple times this year. And at one point, it's not just a mistake, it's a pattern. Cade has to learn to play within the system. He keeps trying to make plays that aren't there, and it's costing this team. Shipley walks in with that touchdown in overtime.
Oh, yeah.
It's frustrating because it feels like this offense was supposed to be fixed with Garrett Riley coming in. And it just feels like for whatever reason, it's either the coaching staff isn't calling the right plays, or when they do call the right plays, the team just isn't executing. I mean, it's ridiculous that for a program that has best as the standard, I don't know if I know what that means anymore, because this is complacency as the standard. And that's what it's come to. They aren't playing well. The defense, oh my God, the defense, I love the defense. I feel so bad for them. They were on the field the entire fourth quarter, and that just wasn't fair. I said it when I was watching the game. After Miami ran it down their throats, I said, all right, we need at least 2 first downs. The worst thing we can do is do 3 and out and give them the ball right back. And what did we do? 3 and out. It was the most predictable thing in the world. At one point, excuse me, it's on the coaches because the kids, they're executing. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating.
My 2 cents, and I'll drop this on you just to kind of guide you in where I think your rant is going, is you guys have gone there, you've been there, you've done that, right? Where like Marcus Freeman as a Notre Dame fan, he hasn't been there, he hasn't done that, right? So when he loses a game or two, it's not, yeah, it sucks. It's the end of the world. It feels like our season is dead, but like at least there's hope to see what he will do. You've already been there, you've done that, now you're on the decline, right? So like
Yeah.
does Dabo, like, did you guys lose hope as Clemson fans? Like, I guess is my question to you. And I don't know if you want to go on a rant about that, but like, it feels like every time Notre Dame loses, like, oh, well, at least there's next year, or at least there's still hope. We haven't seen the ceiling of Marcus Freeman yet. You guys saw the ceiling, and now you guys are down here theoretically, and that's not to kick you guys while you're down, but how does
Nick,
that?
let me jump in on this real quick before you get back on your rant.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a stark difference between a loss by Notre Dame with Marcus Freeman being just his second or third year now.
Yeah,
His second full year at Notre Dame. Like there's still a lot of optimism.
right,
There's a lot
exactly.
that can go on here with Clemson. It's definitely feeling different because there's been comments and just a mindset that seems to emanate from Dabo and the coaching staff of they're going to do it their way or it's the highway. They are not. It feels like Dabo has been very unwilling to yield or adapt to changing climates, whether that's the transfer portal, whether that's
NIL.
NIL, which they've done some on, but not like, or just in general, like how he has his mindset of building the team and what he values. It feels like this team has started to go more into the we're looking to be champions of life, and recruiting uh, the best people, but not necessarily the people that are going to give you the best opportunity to win. And that's not to say that you need to go out there and get bad character guys. I'd never want that to be part of the Clemson program. But when that is the only thing you value, of course, you're not going to be focused on addressing these issues with the team. You're going to be looking to build up their character and tell them that everything's all right and it's going to be okay, but not actually coach them up to be better. That's what it feels like to me at the moment, and I think that's why we're starting to get a bit more concern from the fan base that this is not just a valley that we're then going to come to the other side and start rising up again towards a mountain. It feels like we may be stuck in this trench.
And it feels like you're stuck in that trench real quick before Nick goes back on his rant. Like in response to that, it feels like you guys are stuck in this trench because at one point you guys were getting all the guys. You guys were the program, right? You guys got, but when you like, I heard it like 3 weeks ago, probably. I think it was Trevor who was on a podcast, and he was like, "You look at that team that I went to the college football playoff with. We had Justin Ross, we had ETN, we had defensive guys like Tanner Muse, Isaiah Simmons, like all these NFL guys, right? That are absolute studs. You guys were that recruiting threshold, along with all the other thresholds that Nick just mentioned. And now it feels like just you either don't care or you lost it. And I don't know how you lose something like that. You
and
walk
and,
into a
I,
kid's
and
room,
it
you should be
really
able to
feels
say,
like
"I'm
it's come
Dabo
down
Sweeney."
to development because like you look at I don't think Tanner Muse was a 5-star recruit. You look at a lot of guys that were like
True.
Clemson's recruiting class was typically in the 12, 11, maybe the top 10 but low top 10 range. That was where we've been, and it's been a great job by the coaching staff to develop. And that's what I think is right now missing. You're looking at this. This is 3 years in a row that our receivers can't catch the freaking ball.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like what the hell?
You guys haven't
Wide
had a
receiver
receiver core
university
since then.
three
Yeah.
years ago, and now we're dropping passes all the time.
Yeah.
You look at the running backs. You bring in C.J. Spiller, who is an all-time great at Clemson, and you're expecting development, and it feels like that at times that these guys are either staying the same or getting worse. I mean, what's going on with this? And you got to give Garrett Riley a little bit of time. These are none of his guys. He's trying to get his system in place, and I kind of get what he's saying, where you got to go with the personnel you go with. But goddamn, it just the expectations that have not been met. And all right, Nick, you go ahead because I got more to say afterwards.
The one thing I will say, I like, and you alluded to it. Travis Etienne was not a 5-star. Tanner Muse was not highly recruited. Isaiah Simmons wasn't even I think he was a 3-star. That Clemson built its success on developing these guys that they saw and were able to develop into stars. And I saw a tweet today that perfectly sums it up. Right now, Clemson's not just developing their players; they're developing their coaches. Almost every single coach on that staff
That's fair.
it's their first big college gig, and that's where you run into these problems where the coaching isn't there because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you're forged
And
by
it's
fire.
exactly, and it's very hard for a program to succeed when you're not only developing your players, but your coaches are also getting that first experience. And excuse me, um, like you said with wide receivers, Tyler Grisham. I mean, I know he's been at Clemson for what seems like forever. I don't think he was ready for the wide receiver coach role. I'm whatever's happening there, something needs to be changed there. I think something needs to be changed on the offensive line. Um, something has to change, and it can't just be promote from within the program. You got to go get somebody because I know it's how Dabo rolls that he wants to promote his guys. He wants to reward the people that have been there for him. But I mean, you look at Brent Venables when he left. He like obviously he didn't want to, but he took a lot of people that were important to the success of Clemson.
Yeah, he left a huge
It,
hole in that program.
And I'll tell you this:
and
you look at one thing. Look at Nick Eason, and the guy's done a hell of a job with recruiting, bringing in some big names. He's still not hitting on everything, but he's, they're still needing to get the depth filled out. But he has been doing the work, and he's an outside hire. You know,
yeah,
it's too early, I think, to say anything on Garrett Riley. I've been impressed with Wes in the totality of things. Like he's not the same as Brent Venables, obviously, but he's
no
still
one's going to be the same as Brent.
yeah,
No.
yeah. And you look at what this defense, if the offense can stay on the freaking field, this top 5 defense.
Yeah.
That's
I
exactly where
I
they need to
don't
be.
I think Wes Goodwin has grown up a lot this year. I think Garrett Riley, like you said, it's too early. I think he's shown flashes. I like him as the offensive
Big Willie
coordinator. I
West.
think the coordinators. I think the coordinators we got correct. It's just the position coaches that work with these guys every single day in practice. They've been here for a while and they've been part. They were there for the success, but they've also contributed to the decline as well. And if you just need to rejuvenate, honestly, I'd even consider Jeff Scott being an outside hire because he's been out of the program for a while. Bring that man back. He was there when we were wide receiver U. He brought all those guys and he developed them. That's what we need right now. So I'm begging for Jeff Scott to be part of this coaching staff in the offseason. That's my rant. David, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean I've touched on a couple of things. The big thing that I meant, I think I texted this to you guys a little bit after the game. The thing that I took away from that game that I've been trying to not recognize, but at this point I don't think I can avoid it, is that Clemson right now is a soft football team. I mean, you get to the point where you can't run the ball. 32 freaking yards over the entire game when you have
That
Will
was
Shipley and Phil
ridiculous.
Maffa. Like, what are we doing not feeding Phil Maffa?
Especially at the 2.
Yeah.
It's not like I know Will
What do
Shipley's
you?
your
Well,
bell cow.
I love Ship. I love Ship. He's a scrappy runner. But when it's first and goal and you need to run it in, give it to Maffa. Give it
I
to the
don't know that
230-pound back
that guy's
and
like
let him run
Austin
over it.
Estime.
I just don't get. It really, I think the part that sucks the most is that it's just this offensive line is still being rotated
Manhandled.
around. They're trying to figure out a combination. And it's like, we're 7 games into this get now, and you don't
Yeah.
know who your offensive line is. There was like, I don't even feel like we've had that many injuries in order to like justify that. And even
We
when you do
haven't.
have guys in, the offensive line's like a wet towel, just letting everything through. It's just we're these guys got to man the hell up. They got to nut up or shut up, because this is just it's awful. You Last year we leaned on the run game. I mean, that's how we beat Florida State last year. We just started handing it off to Shipley and he took over. This
That
year,
was like
I'm
the
like,
only thing
we
that worked
can't do
last
it.
year.
We
That was
just
the only thing
can't.
that worked.
We even with like DJ being mostly a in the pocket, like he cannot move anywhere. And now you've got Will Shipley, who or not. You got
Cade.
You've got Cade able to run around a little bit more, but you can't really, because there's just no push. This is just it's unbelievable.
Pitiful.
I'm struggling with words to figure out how to describe it, but they just can't run the ball. And the
Pitiful.
thing we hear coming in is, oh, it's not going to be an air raid. We are going to be a dirt raid. We're going to run the ball, zone read, and they just not they just don't have that killer instinct on the line. It's you can't play. I have played high school football scared before. I dislocated my shoulder. Ever since then, I played scared, and I wasn't any good on the offensive line after that. Went up to make a block on a linebacker and got pancaked by the linebacker because I was scared playing. You can't play football scared. You can't. I've done it. It sucks. You can't do it. You need to go out and be the meanest motherfucker out there, and and lay some wood. You need to. That's what you need to do. And they don't seem to have that killer instinct, and that comes from the coaching staff. Like you need to instill that in these guys. You need to put a fire underneath them and say this is your team. This is the offensive line's team at all times, no matter what. That's how football works. The offensive line is what will make teams go, because if you can run the ball, it covers up a lot of mistakes. If you can pass protect, it covers up a lot of mistakes. We've got these weapons that I believe you can really use. And if you give Cade the time, if you give Shipley and Maffa the holes, they've got the ability to. I mean, we've been moving up the ball up and down the field without this type of consistency, and we just can't finish it in the red zone. And that's where it shows up the most, when you're getting blown up in the red zone for 2-yard losses on the goal line. That's where it shows up that you can't punch it in, that you don't have what it takes. So these guys, they're young. They need to develop. They need to get angry. They need to get mean, and they just aren't right now.
I think from an outsider perspective, right? And I think you guys summed it up like honestly perfectly. From an outsider perspective, it just seems like there's a lot of like small fixes that are equaling to one big issue.
Yep.
And that once you fix a lot of those small things, everything else will fall into place. So at some point, you have to stop worrying about the big picture, focus on all the small things, and then you can get back to the big picture. And like, I
And
don't
the thing
disagree.
I'm upset about is we've been kind of preaching that on here, right? Like I think from the second game, Nick and I have been saying these guys need to be walking around the entire campus with a football in their hand because they can't be fumbling the ball.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
This is something where I think the overarching thing that you're alluding to is that the coaching staff just hasn't held this team accountable enough. I think they assumed that these guys are going to be accountable for themselves because of Dabo's system for who's the most accountable in the team and everything, but they just have not been able to say, "Hey, this is not acceptable," and made the adjustments to correct it.
yeah.
Okay.
No,
With that,
I agree. I agree. Sorry, I was just fixing a typo for our chat.
with that, I think let's go ahead and jump into some picks before we run out of all the time that I have in Zoom, because I can't do that. Can't pay the premium. Sorry, guys. So,
Well,
goodbye. Don't need that. All right,
our
lock of the week. Nick.
Green Sam Hartman jersey.
Yeah. This might have been an anger pick. I'm going to be honest. I was really mad, but I still believe it. I think South Carolina's trash. I think Texas A&M wins this game easy. This was an anger pick. I'm really so mad at football right now. I need something to go my way. So give me the Aggies over the Gamecocks. I hope the Gamecocks get blown out by 52. Gig 'em.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty simple. Said Caleb Williams was my loser. I'm gonna go with the same theme as David, which is either put up or shut up, Caleb. You're playing Cal. You're the better team. You have the better offense. Go out and prove yourself that you're still the unanimous number one overall pick in this year's upcoming draft, and prove that you are the best player in college football. Because quite frankly, I haven't seen it this year. But with that being said, this is more of a I hope that he can. I hope that he will. So I'm taking USC minus 11.
Yeah, just giving you guys a heads up. We got just under 10 minutes before
Oh,
Zoom going to kick us out, so we need to move quick.
That's fine.
Oklahoma over Kansas. Brent Venables, you're doing good things. Boomer Sooner.
All right, this one. I forgot what the line was. I'm pretty sure it was 2.5. I think Matt Rule is building something in Nebraska. I want to be on the train early. I think Nebraska wins this game. I think they keep building momentum. I think in a couple of years they're going to start competing for the Big Ten. So give me Nebraska.
Yeah, for me, pretty simple. Minnesota won last week. I believe in that row the boat theme.
They
That
shouldn't have won last week.
that PJ Fleck has going. I think Michigan State is down. Give me Minnesota. It's actually -7. That's why I was correcting in the chat before. I said -9. It's -7. Give me Minnesota in this game.
Minnesota got gifted that win.
The under still smashed.
Oh my God.
Birds have teeth this year. Cardinals over the Dukies. I'm really enjoying what Louisville's doing right now, and I want to see them keep going. So I'm picking the Cardinals here.
Didn't they lose last time you picked them?
Yeah, but you know what? Screw it. I already have all the bad juju. It's fine. I make my picks.
All right. I'm going to go quick because I know David was really excited to talk about this pick for himself. I think Auburn's reeling. They lost 4 in a row. Make it 5. I think Mississippi State goes in a hostile environment and wins.
Interesting. Yeah, I got Rice here over Tulane. Rice has a bunch of players on offense. I'm kind of relying on that. JT Daniels has been in college football for 8 years. Let's see him toss the ball around the yard and go upset number 22 Tulane, please.
Please.
All right. We got the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers against Liberty. This game, it's Tuesday night, midweek time. It's gonna be fun because you know what? The Hilltoppers, they're $4 dogs, and they're coming out with these babies right here. Look at that!
Oh my God!
Woo! I love it.
This is for all the reasons right here. This is awesome. I love what they're doing here with the every single position group. This is fantastic. I love it. I want to see them put up 50 points here. And I don't even like points. That's how much I love this.
Look at the production value here with the picture of the helmets. Got fancy with it.
Yeah, baby.
They used all their budget just like you guys did with my jersey.
Yeah, we did.
We're gonna make you return that, by the way.
Yikes.
This game, obviously, you don't even have to ask me. Going over 49. The biggest thing I want to shout out here is James Madison should be able to go to a postseason game. They should be able to play for their conference title. Honestly, it's bullcrap that they can't. It's just a stupid NCAA law that's supposed to prevent teams from going up and then going back down. Put them in a ball game. They deserve it. They won. They basically won the Sun Belt last year. They're the best team in the conference. Go Dukes. I think this game goes over.
Yeah, for me, we all don't have to question it either. Circle that over. I think Maryland puts up 40 on their own. So hopefully Northwestern can just get a touchdown in there. I think Maryland's a potent offense, like I've said all year. So give me the over here, 48.5. Pretty simple.
Don't have my Iowa team to go with for the under. They're on a bye. They're gonna.
You still should have taken the Iowa team and got the loss. You said you were picking them every week, so
yeah, but they hit the under.
Yeah, he doesn't care if they win or not. He just wants them under.
I don't care if they win or not. It's all over under in this case. So I'm gonna. You know what? I feel like they MacGuffined me a little bit here with Minnesota. Minnesota's gonna keep this game low scoring. Michigan State's atrocious. 40.5 is a gift. I was looking for 20, couldn't find it. So 40.5 is easy for the under.
Oh,
that's all we got this week. I can't do anymore. I'm done. That's all I got this week.
This week took an emotional toll on my cousins over here. So please, if you want to, please go wish them your condolences on all social media, and make sure that you apologize to them. They've had a very, very, very rough week. So
you can find me at Why Does It Hurt So Much?
At Clemson 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but you know what? As always, go Tigers, beat NC State. We need a win here, boys.
Go Tigers. Ever loyal.